y'all, we're going to make some butter today. Now what I have is some heavy whipping cream. This is more of a method than a recipe. I had bought this the other day and just used just a scant amount of it, and I didn't want it to go to waste. I'm not going to be cooking anything else that needs this, so we're going to make butter. So I have my stand mixer, and I'm just going to pour this in there. And I have my balloon whisk in there too. So I'm just going to lock her down, and I'm going to turn this on low. I'm going to try to turn it up just a little bit. I don't want it to start splashing. Okay, we'll let it go right there for a little bit. Now let me tell you what I am going to do. I have my bowl that I'm going to pour the butter in whenever it splits, and y'all, it will split like that. And then inside this bowl you can use cheesecloth, but I have bought some of these flour sacks, and I you know, you just get them there in a package of like 6 or so, and I wash them, but I don't use a fabric softener whenever I wash these. So I'm just going to put this in there like that. Let's see if we can turn this up yet. And I have a little towel that I can put over top of it if it does start to splash. I think I'm going to do that just to make double dog sure I don't want to have to clean all of that stuff off. There we go. It's going to go night-night, isn't it? But I want to show you these old-timey butter molds. Now this is an old-timey butter mold, and you would put your butter in here and take this paddle and press it to form a rectangle. And here's a smaller one, and you can see these in the antique stores that have a real pretty design on it, but I don't have one of those, but I do have this one that my granddaddy made. Isn't that cool? That's just so special. I love it. Look at that. But I use these for decoration in my kitchen, and I keep them stacked over there in that corner. And when we do our wood utensils and everything, I never have used the oil on these, but I'm going to do that this year. Let me check on our butter. Okay, I'm going to turn it up. Let's see if we can turn it up just a little. There we go. Now, if you were going to make whipped cream to go on top of a dessert, or that wonderful strawberry pie that we made back earlier, ooh, wouldn't that be good today? You would stop it at the whipped cream stage. But if you happen to walk away when you're making whipped cream and you leave it too long, you're accidentally going to make butter. And that's okay, because we love us some butter here in the South, and you know, butter just makes everything better. I do want to tell y'all something. This is not about saving money. When I made 3 batches. At the beginning of this whole pandemic, when we were locked down and the stores were running out of things, could not find butter, but they had whipping cream. And so, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. And since then, I figured out how to make evaporated milk, and we made that the other day when we did the venison deer steak and the mashed potatoes. And evaporated milk is just plain, regular sweet milk, the whole milk. And you just put it in your saucepan and simmer it until half of it's gone, and you've evaporated the water. Now, sweetened condensed milk has nothing to do, it and evaporated milk are like not even the same. Zilch nada. And I have a recipe that I'm working on for that sweetened condensed milk, and we'll get that together whenever I get it where I like it enough to share it with y'all. But this is about being self-sufficient, because the shelves are not looking. This is the first week of February of 2022. The shelves are starting to look a whole lot like they did in March of 2021. Is that right, y'all? All these years, I'm not liking all these crazy stuff going on. We're at the whipped cream stage, y'all. Looky there, looky there. So I'm going to turn it up just a little more. Okay, now, are y'all feeling brave? I'm going to pick y'all up and show you what this whipped cream looks like. Hang on, hang on. You might want to close your eyes just in case you get seasick. Look at that, y'all. Doesn't that look good? That looks wonderful. Let's see if we can turn it up just a little more. Okay, good deal. Oh my word, that looks good. I wish we had some strawberries to put that on. Okay, I'm going to turn y'all off just for a split second, and I'm going to step over to the other side and get a spatula so I can scrape this off the sides. I'm so sorry this is loud, but I think this is important. And I did scrape down the sides. When the butter splits from the whey, it's on as high as it'll go right now. It will just start to, it'll split, lickety split, and it'll start getting juicy, and it's going to make a mess. And it's starting to kind of spit up on the sides there just a little bit, so I don't think we're far from it. Just kind of like watching paint dry, isn't it, y'all? I hate to turn y'all off because I'm afraid it's going to split and then y'all are going to miss it. I'm going to have to wash everything in my kitchen, y'all. And it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Let's see. Do I think that's done yet? I do. Look at that, y'all. You see that? There we go. There is our butter. Now, I'm going to turn y'all off and clean off the screen so we can both see. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all. It is almost done. That part of it is finished. And I'm just going to take this. Woo! Going to have to clean the countertops. And going to have to mop the floor, it looks like. But it's going to be worth it. Sometimes the best things you do in life are messy, aren't they? Yep. Okay. That's going to be... Now, you would take more time and you would get every bit of that off. But we're just going to jump right ahead. And look at this. Y'all see that? See that buttermilk down in there? Now that is true buttermilk. Now what we get at the store is more of a, well, you know, it's more, I don't know if you want to call it soured milk, but this is your true buttermilk. Now the stuff that drains off of this, I'm going to save because I can use that making mashed potatoes or, you know, whatever you would use milk for. So I'm just going to pull up my sides. We're going to give this a really good squeeze and try to squeeze all of that out of there. It's not going to be all of it, but we're going to squeeze as much as we can. All right. Now look at this. I'm going to put this in a fruit jar and put in the refrigerator, and it'll last a week or so, and we'll use that doing stuff. So let me rinse my hands. Mercy, I can't stand that. Okay, a few things that I have gleaned since the last time we made butter together. Let me move these. Is, you know, you want to wash your butter because that the buttermilk that stays in it is what's going to make it go bad, and we don't want that. We don't go through all this and then have our butter go bad. So there we go. Now I'm going to get some ice cold water out of the refrigerator, so y'all just hang on right there. This piece of butter off the floor before I mess around and track that everywhere. Let me rinse my hands again, y'all. Y'all are so sweet, patient, and everything. I know this is probably going to be a little bit longer of a video, but I've been trying to keep these things shorter. I know it drives people crazy when they're too long, but y'all, sometimes you just can't do something in 3 minutes. It's just not possible. Alrighty. Now I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to divide this into workable pieces. Alrighty. Now let's see. Okay, hang on a minute, y'all. We're doing this on the fly, aren't we? One thing that I really enjoyed after I did that, I'm going to squeeze this to make sure we have all of the buttermilk as much as possible out of it. That one's pretty good. Let's put this one with this. One thing I really enjoyed on that video, y'all, that's pretty dry. I think all these are pretty good. One thing I did enjoy is reading all of y'all's comments. And so many of y'all, now we're going to wash this butter. So many of y'all have memories of sitting on the porch with your grandparents and churning butter. And I wish I had that memory. I was kind of the baby to come along, and so a lot of that stuff wasn't done anymore by the time I showed up. But it's fun to learn the old ways, isn't it? And we need to teach them to our kids. And we need to be more self-sufficient than we are. Okay, there. That is going to be so good. Now, if you didn't have filtered water, one thing you could do, if you didn't have any bought water, water distilled or whatever from the store, you could take your a pitcher of your tap water and leave it setting out on the cabinet with the lid off of it for a couple days to get the chlorine out, and some of the water just doesn't have a good smell, does it? Okay, that's pretty clear down in there. I will tell you this, I figured this out the hard way. Whenever I made butter before, I rinsed it in my sink. This part right here, I rinsed in my sink and let it go down the drain. Guess who had a slow drain? This girl right here did. So let me pour this out, and I'll get back with y'all. We're going to salt it, and then we're going to roll it up and get it ready to store. Okay, y'all. At this point is when you would add your salt or herbs or whatever you wanted to use for a, let me get another paper towel. I'm sorry, y'all. Whatever you wanted to use to make a compound butter, to make a salted butter, a honey, strawberry, whatever you wanted to do. But I'm not going to use a whole lot of butter. I'm just going to take, there's probably a half a teaspoon, and I'm going to just put just a little on each one, not much. I didn't even use that whole entire thing. Now this, I'm just gonna knead, kind of like silly putty, and this will help that salt dissolve. And if there's any moisture in there, it will come back out, and the salt will help it to be preserved more. So I'm just going to try to make this into kind of about like that, so that if you're cooking something you need tablespoons, you can do it off like that. Now the first time I made it into more of a big block, and then it is kind of, then you have to do a little more thinking, or as Jethro Bodine would say, you got to do more gazendas to figure out what you're doing. So anyway, this is going to be really good. And one of the things I really enjoyed reading on this, so many of y'all are so good with the children, and a lot of y'all did this in Vacation Bible School. And it is so, you put it in a jar, and everybody gets a jar, and then you just shake it. And I think that's a pretty good thing to do. You could do that as a home experiment, or keep the kids busy on a random Tuesday night. But I'm going to wrap these in I'm going to get a clean piece of parchment, paper out. And I'm going to wrap these up. I'm going to take a couple up to my mama. The first time I brought home some Amish butter from the health food store, my mama, she's 97, sharp as tack, sharper than me by a whole stretch, she said, "This is good because they washed it." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, you have to wash your butter and get all that stuff out of it, and it'll last longer and it tastes better." So I thought, well, Queen Mom knows what she's talking about, doesn't she? All right, there we go. That's about a pound of butter, and then we got, golly, a couple cups of good buttermilk over there that we can make some stuff out of. So, alrighty, I'm done with this. I'm just going to roll this up into some parchment paper and put it in a Ziploc and keep it fresh. So, we made butter. Y'all, figure out how to do something. I didn't mean to be spicy. I didn't mean it like that. We just need to be a little bit more self-sufficient. If there's some things that you know your store is probably going to run out of, try to figure out what it is and how do you make it, and get the stuff and have it on hand, and you'll feel good about yourself. So anyway, there we go. Now I got to go wash these dishes so I can turn off my video. So I'll see y'all next time. Go do something fun and make some butter. We almost forgot the most important part, the taste test. Y'all, this butter, it is so good. There's something that makes you feel good about something that you did your own self. And this is gluten-free bread. I will put a picture of, sorry about that, y'all. I'll put a picture of the sack at the end so you can see what it is. But y'all, it is the best bread I have found so far. So, anyway, there's our butter. Now y'all go do something fun.